I sat in the third row of the auditorium, my hands clutching the program so tightly that my knuckles had gone pale against my brown skin. The air conditioning was blasting, but sweat still beaded at my temples. Around me, proud parents whispered excitedly, phones ready to capture the moment their children received their diplomas. I should have been one of them, excited, proud, overwhelmed with joy. Instead, my heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. My daughter Jasmine was graduating summa cum laude from Howard University. 22 years old, beautiful, brilliant, and about to walk across that stage to collect the degree she'd worked so hard for. This should have been one of the happiest days of my life. I'd sacrificed everything to make sure she could attend her dream school. Late nights working double shifts as a nurse, skipping meals to pay tuition, driving a car held together by prayers and duct tape, while my husband Marcus drove his luxury sedan. Marcus, my husband of 16 years, sat beside me, but he felt a million miles away. He'd been distant for months, always on his phone, always working late, always too tired to talk. I pushed my concerns aside, told myself he was just stressed about work. That we'd reconnect after Jasmine graduated. I'd even planned a surprise trip for just the two of us, a second honeymoon to Barbados. The tickets were hidden in my nightstand drawer. "You look tense," Marcus whispered, not looking at me. His eyes were fixed on his phone screen, his thumb scrolling endlessly. "I'm just emotional," I replied, forcing a smile. "Our baby is graduating." He didn't respond, just kept scrolling. The ceremony began with the usual pomp and circumstance. The dean spoke about achievement and potential. A valedictorian delivered an inspiring speech about overcoming obstacles. Parents around me dabbed at tears. I tried to focus, tried to be present, but something felt wrong. The way Marcus kept checking his watch, the way he'd barely spoken to me all morning, the way he'd insisted his mother and sister sit in the row behind us instead of with us. Then, as the graduates began filing onto the stage, Marcus leaned close to me. For a moment, I thought he might take my hand, might share this beautiful moment with me. Instead, his words cut through me like a knife through butter. "I'm leaving you, Keisha. After this is over, I'm done." The words didn't make sense at first. My brain couldn't process them. The applause around me seemed to fade into white noise. I turned to look at him, searching his face for some sign that I'd misheard, that this was some cruel joke. His expression was cold, detached, like he was telling me he was switching insurance providers. "What?" I whispered, my voice cracking. "You heard me. I'm filing for divorce. I've already moved most of my things out. I just wanted to wait until after Jasmine graduated. Didn't want to ruin her big day." He said this like he deserved a medal for his consideration, like ambushing me at our daughter's graduation was somehow noble. My hands started trembling. The program slipped from my fingers and fell to the floor. Around us, people were standing and cheering as names were called. I felt like I was underwater, drowning, unable to breathe. "Marcus, what are you talking about? We can talk about this later. There's nothing to talk about," he interrupted, his voice still low but sharp. "I'm not happy. Haven't been for years. I've met someone else. Someone who actually appreciates me. Someone who doesn't make me feel like a wallet with legs." The cruelty of his words hit me like a physical blow. Tears burned in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Not here. Not now. Not during Jasmine's moment. "You're doing this now?" My voice was barely audible. "Right now? Like I said, I waited until after the ceremony. You should be thanking me for that." He finally looked at me, and the stranger I saw in his eyes terrified me. This wasn't the man I'd married. This wasn't the man who'd held my hand during Jasmine's birth. This wasn't the man who'd promised to love me in sickness and health. Behind us, I heard his mother's voice, loud enough for people around us to hear. "It's about time he told her. That woman has been holding him back for years. My stomach dropped. They all knew. His family knew. They'd been waiting for this moment. Watching me with pity or perhaps satisfaction. I felt the eyes of people around us beginning to turn, whispers starting to spread like wildfire. And then I heard Jasmine's name called. Jasmine Nicole Patterson, Bachelor of Science in Engineering, summa cum laude. My daughter stepped onto that stage, radiant in her cap and gown, and I had to watch her greatest achievement through a veil of tears while my entire world crumbled around me. I stood and applauded for my daughter, my hands coming together mechanically while my mind raced. Through blurred vision, I watched Jasmine cross that stage, shake the dean's hand, and accept her diploma with that brilliant smile that had always lit up every room she entered. She searched the crowd until her eyes found mine, and she waved, her joy so pure and complete that it physically hurt to witness it. I waved back, forcing my face into something that resembled pride and happiness, even as Marcus sat beside me, already checked out, already gone. His mother leaned forward and whispered something to him that made him smirk. The casual cruelty of it, the timing, the audience, the complete disregard for this moment we'd all worked toward, suddenly crystallized something inside me. The tears stopped. My hands stopped shaking. A strange, cold clarity washed over me like ice water. Because Marcus had made a critical mistake, he thought I was weak. He thought I was broken. He thought 16 years of marriage meant he knew everything about me. But there were things Marcus didn't know. Things I'd discovered 3 months ago that I'd been sitting on, waiting, planning, making sure every piece was in place. See, Marcus wasn't as careful as he thought he was. Back in February, I'd noticed charges on our joint credit card, the one he thought I never checked because he handled the finances. Expensive dinners at restaurants we'd never been to together, hotel rooms in the city when he was supposedly working late, a jewelry purchase for $8,000 that I'd never received. So I'd done what any woman with half a brain would do. I'd hired a private investigator, and what David Miller, PI, had uncovered was so much worse than a simple affair. Marcus wasn't just cheating on me. He was cheating with Vanessa, his boss's 26-year-old daughter, the same boss who'd promoted him to senior vice president last year. The same boss, Richard Whitmore, who was a deacon at our church and whose wife Barbara was my friend, or at least I'd thought she was. But that wasn't even the best part. The best part was that Marcus had been embezzling from his company for the past 2 years. Small amounts at first, then increasingly larger sums, funneling money into a separate account to fund his lifestyle with Vanessa. The designer bags, the luxury apartment he'd rented for her in Georgetown, the European vacation they'd taken while he told me he was at a conference in Chicago. David had given me everything: bank statements, photographs, hotel receipts, emails, text messages, even video footage of Marcus and Vanessa together, discussing their plans for after he finally got rid of the dead weight. His words for me, apparently. I'd taken all of that evidence and done something Marcus would never have expected from his simple nurse wife. I'd consulted with 3 different lawyers, transferred half of our joint savings into a separate account in my name only, perfectly legal since it was joint, put a freeze on his ability to access Jasmine's college fund, and made copies of everything, multiple copies stored in multiple locations. Then I'd done something even better. I'd sent an anonymous package to Richard Whitmore's office. Not to Richard directly. That would have been too obvious. No, I'd sent it to the company's internal audit department with a detailed breakdown of Marcus's embezzlement scheme, complete with account numbers and transaction dates. I'd mailed it exactly 2 weeks ago, timed perfectly so that the investigation would be in full swing right about now. And this morning, while Marcus was in the shower, preparing for Jasmine's graduation, I'd received an email from my lawyer. The company had filed a police report. An arrest warrant had been issued. They were just waiting for the right moment to execute it. The ceremony continued around us. More names were called. More families cheered. Marcus checked his phone again, and I saw his face go pale. Then again. His hands started to tremble slightly. He stood abruptly. "I need to make a call," he muttered, trying to push past me. I didn't move. I let my legs block the aisle, forcing him to awkwardly climb over chairs to get out, drawing attention from everyone around us. His mother shot me a nasty look, but I just smiled serenely and turned my attention back to the stage. Through the auditorium doors, I could see Marcus in the lobby, pacing frantically, phone pressed to his ear. His body language screamed panic. Something was happening, something he hadn't anticipated. When the ceremony ended and families began flooding toward the exits to find their graduates, Marcus rushed back in, his face ashen, sweat visible on his forehead despite the air conditioning. "We need to go," he said urgently, grabbing my arm. "Now." I pulled my arm free slowly, deliberately. "We need to find Jasmine first. It's her graduation day, remember? Or were you too busy ending our marriage to care about that?" "Keisha, I'm serious, we need to—" "Mrs. Patterson?" A voice cut through the crowd. We both turned to see two men in suits approaching, badges visible on their belts. Behind them were two uniformed police officers. "Marcus Patterson." Marcus's face went from pale to gray. Who are you?" "Detective Chen, Detective Rodriguez, DC Metro Police. Mr. Patterson, we have a warrant for your arrest for embezzlement and wire fraud. You have the right to remain silent." The lobby fell silent. Every single person within earshot stopped and stared. I watched as they handcuffed my husband of 16 years as he sputtered protests and denials, as his mother started screaming about injustice and mistakes. "Keisha!" Marcus's voice was desperate now. All his earlier coldness evaporated. "Keisha, tell them this is a mistake. Call Richard, call someone. Don't just stand there." I tilted my head, let a small smile play at the corners of my mouth. "You know what, Marcus? I'm not happy. Haven't been for years. And I don't want to feel like a wallet with legs anymore." I threw his own words back at him, watching realization dawn in his eyes. You did this? Why is our reaction so hostile?" I said calmly, loudly enough for everyone around us to hear. "But I do know that I'm about to take my daughter out for the celebration dinner she deserves, without you. Congratulations on your new life, honey. I hope it's everything you dreamed of." They led Marcus away in handcuffs, his protests echoing through the lobby as families parted like the Red Sea to let the officers through. His mother tried to follow, shrieking about lawyers and false accusations, but security stopped her at the door. She whirled around, her eyes wild and searching until they landed on me. "You vindictive bitch," she screamed across the crowded space. "You did this to him. You've always been jealous of his success." Every phone in the lobby was out now, recording, capturing this moment for posterity. I stood perfectly still, my purse clutched calmly in front of me, my expression serene. I didn't need to defend myself. The truth would do that for me. "Mom?" Jasmine's voice cut through the chaos. I turned to see my daughter pushing through the crowd, still in her cap and gown, her face confused and frightened. "Mom, what's happening? Why are the police here? Where's Dad?" I moved to her immediately, wrapping my arms around her, shielding her from the stares and phones. "Let's go outside, baby. I'll explain everything." But before we could move, another commotion erupted at the entrance. Richard Whitmore, Marcus's boss, strode in with his wife Barbara, and, oh, this was perfect, Vanessa, the mistress herself, dressed in a tight red dress, completely inappropriate for a graduation ceremony, her face already tear-streaked and panicked. "Where is he?" Vanessa shrieked, her voice shrill and desperate. "Where's Marcus? They can't just arrest him. We didn't do anything wrong." Barbara Whitmore's face transformed from confusion to horror to rage in the span of 3 seconds. "We?" she repeated slowly, turning to look at the young woman beside her. "What do you mean we, Vanessa?" Richard Whitmore's face had gone purple. "Vanessa, what are you talking about?" The mistress realized her mistake too late, her hand flying to her mouth. But the damage was done. The lobby had gone silent again, everyone watching this real-life drama unfold better than any reality TV show. I decided to help things along. "Mr. Whitmore, Mrs. Whitmore," I said clearly, my voice carrying across the space. "I'm so sorry you had to find out this way. I only discovered a few months ago that Marcus and Vanessa have been having an affair for over a year. I believe the police will find that she was involved in helping him embezzle funds from your company as well. The apartment in Georgetown is registered in both their names." Vanessa's face crumbled. No, Marcus said you knew. He said you were fine with it. He lied," I said simply. "Marcus is very good at lying, as I'm sure your father is discovering right now, Mr. Whitmore." Richard Whitmore turned to his daughter with a look of such betrayal and fury that even I felt a twinge of sympathy for her. "You've been sleeping with a married employee? You helped him steal from my company? From the company that has your name on the building?" "Daddy, I didn't know. I mean, he said—" Vanessa was backing away now, her mother advancing on her with an expression that promised hell to pay later. Marcus's mother tried one more time. "This is all lies. My son would never—" "Mrs. Patterson," I interrupted gently, finally addressing her directly. "Your son told me he was leaving me approximately 30 minutes ago, right before our daughter's name was called. He informed me he'd already moved his things out. He said he'd met someone who appreciates him more than I do. All of this is on video, by the way." I gestured to the dozens of phones still recording. "I'm sure it'll be on social media within the hour. As for the embezzlement, well, that has nothing to do with me. The evidence speaks for itself." I watched her face crumble, the reality of her son's actions finally breaking through her denial. She sank into a nearby chair, suddenly looking 20 years older. "Mom, please." Jasmine's voice was urgent beside me, her hand gripping my arm. "Can we please just go?" And my daughter deserved better than to spend her graduation day watching her family implode in public. But as I turned to leave, Vanessa lunged toward me, her face twisted with rage. "This is all your fault. Marcus was going to leave you. We were going to be together. You ruined everything." I stopped, turned back to face her slowly. The entire lobby held its breath. "No, sweetheart," I said softly, my voice deadly calm. "Marcus ruined everything the moment he decided to betray his wife, steal from his employer, and manipulate a young woman barely older than his own daughter. I simply made sure he faced the consequences of his choices. There's a difference." I looked around the lobby, at all the faces staring at us, some shocked, some sympathetic, some gleeful at the drama. My husband announced he was leaving me at our daughter's graduation. He thought he had all the power. He thought I was weak, that I'd just accept it and fade away quietly. But here's what Marcus never understood about me. I'm a black woman who put herself through nursing school while raising a baby. I worked double shifts to give my daughter opportunities I never had. I survived things that would have broken weaker people. Did he really think I'd just roll over and let him destroy me without a fight? I turned back to Vanessa. "He used you, honey, and now you're going to prison right along with him. I'd almost feel sorry for you. Almost." Barbara Whitmore stepped forward then, her voice ice cold. "Mrs. Patterson, I apologize for my daughter's behavior and for not seeing what was happening in my own home. If there's anything I can do, you can make sure the full extent of the embezzlement is prosecuted," I said simply. "Every penny he stole, every fraudulent transaction. Don't let his lawyers make deals or reduce charges. He deserves everything that's coming to him." Richard Whitmore nodded grimly. "You have my word. The company will pursue this to the fullest extent of the law." I took Jasmine's hand. "Good. Now if you'll all excuse us, my daughter and I have a celebration dinner reservation. Jasmine, baby, let's go." As we walked toward the exit, I heard Marcus's mother sobbing behind us, heard Vanessa screaming at her parents, heard the whispers and murmurs spreading through the crowd like wildfire. My phone was already buzzing in my purse, texts from friends who'd been at the ceremony, messages from family members who'd somehow already heard. Outside, the sunshine was bright and warm. Jasmine stopped on the steps, turning to face me with tears streaming down her face. "Mom, is it true? All of it? Dad was cheating and stealing?" I cupped her beautiful face in my hands. "Yes, baby. I'm so sorry you had to find out this way. I was trying to handle it quietly, to wait until after your graduation to tell you. But your father decided to do things his way, and well, he got what he deserved. But you knew? You planned all this?" "I protected us," I corrected gently. "When I found out what your father was doing, I made sure we'd be okay. The house is in my name only. I refinanced it months ago. Your college fund is secure and untouchable. I have a good job, and I've already spoken to a lawyer about the divorce. We're gonna be fine, Jasmine." "Better than fine." She stared at me with something like awe. "You're incredible, you know that?" I laughed, surprised by the sound of it. "I'm just a woman who got tired of being underestimated. Now come on, summa cum laude. Let's go celebrate you. This is your day, and I'll be damned if I let your father's mess overshadow your achievements." As we walked to my car, that old, reliable car that Marcus always made fun of, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was a text from my lawyer. "It's done. Divorce papers filed. You should also know that Marcus's accounts have been frozen by the feds. The embezzlement total is over $400K. He's looking at 5 to 10 years minimum. Congratulations on your freedom." I smiled, deleted the message, and unlocked the car. Jasmine climbed in, still processing everything, still trying to reconcile the father she'd known with the man who'd just been arrested at her graduation. "Mom," she said quietly as I started the engine, "did Dad really say he was leaving you right before they called my name?" "He did." "That's so cruel." "Yes, it was. But you know what? In trying to break me at what he thought was my weakest moment, he made a fatal mistake. He showed me exactly who he really was, and he underestimated exactly who I am. And that mistake is going to cost him everything." I pulled out of the parking lot, leaving behind the chaos, the cameras, the scandal. In my rearview mirror, I could see people still clustered outside the auditorium, phones out, probably already posting their videos and hot takes on social media. By tonight, the story would be everywhere. Husband announces divorce at daughter's graduation, gets arrested for embezzlement minutes later. But I didn't care about any of that. I looked over at my daughter, my brilliant, beautiful daughter who just graduated summa cum laude from one of the best universities in the country. And I smiled. "You hungry, baby?" She wiped her eyes and managed a small smile back. "Starving." "Good, because we have reservations at that fancy restaurant your father always said was too expensive. My treat. We're celebrating your graduation and my liberation." As we drove through D.C., the late afternoon sun casting golden light across the monuments and buildings, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Freedom, peace, power. Marcus had wanted to destroy me at our daughter's graduation. Instead, he'd given me the perfect stage to destroy him. And the best part? I'd done it all while barely raising my voice, while staying calm and collected, while the whole world watched. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but I think it's best served publicly, legally, and with enough evidence to ensure your ex-husband spends the next decade reflecting on his choices from a prison cell. My phone buzzed one more time. A text from an unknown number. "This is Detective Chen. Just wanted you to know, Patterson's been asking for his phone call. He keeps trying to reach you. Thought you should know in case you want to block his number." I didn't even hesitate. I blocked Marcus's number, his mother's number, and for good measure, blocked Vanessa too. Then I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb and reached over to squeeze my daughter's hand. "You know what the best part of all this is?" I said. "What's that, Mom?" "Your father thought he was making a power move. He thought telling me at your graduation that he was leaving would make him look decisive and strong. But all he did was hand me the perfect audience to watch him fall. Sometimes the trash really does take itself out." Jasmine laughed, actually laughed, and suddenly we were both laughing. The kind of cleansing, cathartic laughter that comes after surviving something terrible. Marcus had announced he was leaving me at our daughter's graduation. But he'd started screaming when I revealed the truth, that I'd already left him weeks ago in every way that mattered, and I'd just been waiting for him to catch up. And now I was free. We both were. And that was the sweetest revenge of all.